The weather god for making life difficult for his side after they were bundled out of the CAF Champions League by AS Satif of Algeria. The Fire Club led 1-0 from the first leg but were dismal in Algeria and deservedly exited the competition 4-1 on aggregate. However, Abubakar is adamant, it would have been a different scoreline had the temperatures been favourable to his team.
The match was very tough. They were determined, and there was a lot of tricks of which our players were determined to stand against them. It was good for us in at least the first 20 minutes. The game plan that we went in was working perfectly. Unfortunately, the weather continued to be cold. The first day we trained on their pitch, and that was on Saturday. The weather was 4 degrees Celsius, and then unfortunately on Sunday it was worsened to 0 degree. And as it was like that, then it started drizzling. And drizzling in such a weather, the water does not just run on the body. It sticks and then it affects a lot of things. So the weather also contributed to the heavy defeat, and it makes the field very slippery. And they have been used to their weather, so they did not see anything wrong with that. I don't think in such weather it will be fair to football that you travel and then come and meet such a weather and then play. Although we knew it would be cold, but to that extent, we never expected that.
Coach Abubakar, if you have other reasons for your defeat, I think you better state it, but not this, because when the Algerians came together, it was hot. What did they say? They didn't say anything. They played the game. That was not all. The Adriana coach also blamed poor officiating and some other dirty tricks for the defeat.
Coupled with unfortunate officiating that we also experienced, we were surprised that there are so many things that the referee ignored. Those things were very important that, we could have taken the chance of that and it would have been an advantageous to us. Sometimes off the scene, a player will heckle our player using the elbow, and even the assistants, instead of calling the attention of the center man, they will not do that. And there are certain tackles that they did that the referee did not even care to do that. And when you look at so many things that the referee did, were shocked with certain officiating that he did. Though we are not saying that Satif is a bad side, but at least we could have also benefited from certain decisions that he ignored. And I think that one also affected us seriously.
But apart from all this, Coach Yusuf Abubakar, apart from all that he said earlier, he also says that there are some experiences they have identified and that will make their next appearance on the continental stage more relevant.
In terms of Africa, it has been an experience in such a way that anything that will come to our home, if we are to play home first, we must make sure that we utilize our chances convincingly, not to cheat the team, but to perform more than what we were doing to make sure we get a lot of goals, and that will help us. And this one, I think, is a lesson to all Ghanaian clubs, because we seem to be too relaxed, too confident that we feel at any time we can go through, and I think that mentality has to be taken off.
We'll bring you more on Coach Yusuf Abubakar's interview this evening on Monday Night Sports between 7 p.m. and 6 p.m. But if you take a look at the Champions League, clubs that have qualified for the group stage of the competition, that's the money zone, include KCCA of Uganda. They won 1-0 on aggregate against St. George of Ethiopia. We also have Swallows of Swaziland, Mbambani Swallows of Swaziland, qualifying for the group stage of the competition. That's very good to hear. They won 3-1 on aggregate against Zanaco of Zambia. Then we also have Wydad Casablanca of Morocco qualifying at the expense of Williamsville of Ivory Coast. We also have Ali of Egypt. Ali also qualifying 7-1 on aggregate. And then we also have Algeria's Molodia Alger also qualifying 6-0 after they defeated MFM of Nigeria 7-2 on aggregate. Now we have Horoya of Guinea also qualifying to the next zone, and we also have Township Rulers of Botswana also making it to the next stage. TP Mazembe, they lost 3-0, but they won the first leg 4-0, and so they also make it to the next stage. And we also have Primeiro club of Angola also qualifying 3-2 at the expense of Wits of South Africa. Then Esperance of Tunisia also qualified to the next stage of the competition. Then we also have Etoile du Sahel of Tunisia also qualifying for 3 on aggregate to get to the next stage at the expense of Plateau United of Nigeria. Al Hilal of Sudan won 3-1 against Port of Togo, but the tie ended 3-3 on aggregate. But Port of Togo, on away goal rule, have qualified to the next stage. Asec Mimosa also out at the expense of Zesco United of Zambia. And then we also have Vita Club also being eliminated by Difa El Jadida of Morocco. Then we have Sundowns of South Africa also qualifying to the next stage of the Champions League competition at the expense of Rayan Sport of Rwanda. Now, if you take a look at the Confederations Cup, teams that have qualified include Super Sport United of South Africa. We also have Congo La Mancha from Congo Brazzaville also qualifying. We also have Joliba also qualifying to the next stage of the competition. We have Renaissance from Morocco also making it. Raja Casablanca also making it to the next stage, and Costa do Sol of Mozambique also making it to the next stage of the competition. We've got the likes of Kara Club of Congo Brazzaville. They eliminated Kumasi Asante Kotoko, also making it through to the next stage of the competition at the expense of Ben Gondani of Tunisia. But the most surprising result was that of Zamalek. They've been eliminated 3-3 on aggregate, but Dicha won 4-3 on penalties, and so Dicha Club of Ethiopia are through at the expense of Zamalek of Egypt, the almighty Zamalek. So these are some of the stories on the African front. USMA of Algeria has also qualified to the next stage of the CAF Confederations Cup, and then the draw will be done. And very soon we'll see the losers in the Champions League drop into the group stage here in the Confederations Cup for a draw to be held. Then we know which opponents Indiana are going to play in the next stage of the CAF Confederations Cup. So last Friday in Accra at the Mensvik Hotel, we had the Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, George Kwesi Afriyie, declaring his intentions to contest for the presidential seat of the GFA come next year when the elections are held. Well wishers, family members, friends, and several football administrators, including journalists and club owners, who had the occasion to celebrate with George Afriyie, who used that birthday celebration to announce his intentions of contesting the FA presidency. Now, Love Sports have been speaking to the president of the Sports Writers Association of Ghana, that's Kwabena Yabua, on his thoughts about the declaration from George Afriyie.
I personally do not think that it comes as a surprise to close watchers of Ghana football at all. I mean, this has been in the public domain for some time, and I think he's been forthright and very candid in stating his stance and his interest in the job. We in 2018, so we have only 1 year for the next election. So 1 year to the next election, I don't think it's too early for anybody who has an interest in it to express that. I know there are a number of candidates who are also interested. They weigh their options. Some have at least spoken to the electorate. They yet to make their intentions very clearly. But I know that someone like Kojo Piano has also made his intentions clear. It won't come as a major surprise at all, against the background that as we speak, he's the second in command at the FA. He's been around for decades. So it doesn't come as a surprise at all. What I can say is that from now, he would only have to work very, very hard to work on the electorate and see what happens. Because
all right, so that's coming up right there for you. But yesterday, over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the Ghana Premier League bounced back to action once again after a lot of issues holding it back. It got started on Saturday where Bichim United lost to Interlies by 3-0. Yesterday, Techiman 11 Wonders drew 1-1 with Accra Suffolk. Mediema won 1-0 against Newcomers Karela FC. We had Dreams FC also beating Elmina Sharks by 0-0. Busan Dwarfs won 1-0 against Brekum Chelsea, but Brekum Chelsea officials are crying foul because they felt that referee Samuel Suka gave them a raw deal, awarding a doubtful goal against them. Ashanti Gold won 1-0 against Wow All Stars, and Wafa also won 1-0. Drew 1-1 with Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Now let's hear from Kumasi Asante Kotoko coach Bakwesi Fabian after the game against Wafa.
It was a very good game. Wafa still has a very good team. They played very well. We came up here with a strategy, and I think our strategy worked a little bit for us. Even though we had a draw, we are happy with the results, and we go back to the drawing board and work harder in the subsequent matches. Fortunately, to us, that because I have not lost here before. With any team I come here with ATIASE came here, we drew here. I think I brought Arsenal here. I also drew here. So when I was coming, I was very confident that we were going to do it. Otherwise, some time, and he knew most of the things that they do here. So it was very valuable to us in this point.
The players mentioned?
Yeah, they are good players. As you can see, Aminu and Danso. But when Danso was substituted, I was very happy because he was really tormenting our team. But I think they also compete very well. If they are able to keep their feet on the ground, they will go places.
All right, so there's an outstanding game coming up later midweek. We have Liberty playing against the Vienna Stars, but after match day 1, ATIASE have 3 points. They're on top. Ashanti Gold are second with 3 points. Dreams FC third with 3. Ebusandos are fourth, also with 3 points, and Hasselfolk, Mediema are fifth with 3 points as well. All right, there's no sports flash on your superstation Love 99.5 FM. Before we do some international stories, just to remind you that sports flash is coming to you, kind courtesy Prestige Capital. Get to them for all your investment products, as well as Pakum, for sexual weakness for men, and then we also have Tabia capsules. They are our pro sponsors for sports flash on Love FM. Now to the international front, and Real Madrid have reportedly reached an agreement in principle to sign Bayern Munich forward Robert Lewandowski in the summer. Now, according to the Mundo Deportivo, the Poland international has agreed personal terms on a 2-year deal with Madrid after a series of meetings took place this month. Madrid president Florentino Perez decided to make a move for the Bayern striker as he waits to see how the potential deal to sign Neymar from Paris Saint-Germain evolves. Now, Madrid has also been interested in signing Tottenham striker Harry Kane, but were pessimistic about their chances of securing his signature, with chairman Daniel Levy refusing to hold negotiations. Now, in France, Neymar has reportedly asked Paris Saint-Germain for a pay rise to stop him joining Real Madrid. The world record £198 million attacker has been courted by the 11-time champion winners over the last few months. Now, Neymar's dad, according to reports in France, has told PSG chiefs to up his 26-year-old son £600,000 a week pay or face losing him to Real Madrid. Hey, £600,000 a week, and they want an increment. Now, PSG President Nasser Al Khalifa and Sporting Director Antero Henrique met with Neymar's representative last week in Brazil, hanging over them after trouble at a Europa League quarter-final. UEFA rule states if a further offence is committed during the probationary period, the original disciplinary measure must be enforced. This may be added to the disciplinary measure imposed for the new offence. Lyon have been charged with racist behaviour, crowd disturbances, throwing of objects and setting of fireworks and blocking stairways. And finally, Manchester United have triggered a 1-year contract extension clause in Ashley Young's contract, which will keep him at the club until the summer of 2019. The 32-year-old joined the club from Aston Villa in 2011 as a winger, but now plays more as a fullback. Young has won a Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup and Europa League in his time at Old Trafford. He has played 29 matches this season, scoring 2 goals and won a spot back in the English national team. That'll be it for sports, but I know definitely DJ Rubin has something for you on Drive Talk. Let's check out what it is. And it says that I placed radio announcement on loss of money. That's $1,200, which was meant for advance payment of a friend's rent. Days later, an anonymous caller calls to tell me she found the money but used it to solve a critical personal problem. She promises to pay. Sorry about this, but I just have to laugh. She promises to pay up as soon as funds are available. Meanwhile, my friend, who has no idea about what has happened, wants to move into the apartment next week. What shall I do? Tell your friend what has happened and try to locate the number and see whether you can locate a girl so that she knows the truth. It's better to tell. It's better to tell
to pay back when funds are available.
No, so
and with this person, you've not told, with this friend you are talking about, you've not told him all this well.
And I'm saying
so how
that,
would he take it this time?
No, so I'm saying that in order not to make it too late, tell your friend this is what has happened. The girl has been able to call you. Trace the number. Let's speak to the girl so that your friend knows that indeed it's not maybe you are doing some shakara on him or anything. You understand?
But how sure are you your friend will believe that?
But this lady, you find somebody's money, then use it to go and solve your personal problems. That's your deal. Anyway,
let's talk some more drive time. I love.
For the best of motivation,
God knows how to bring your dreams to pass.
news, solutions to problems, music to rock your body and caress your mind. Keep it locked on the greatest, easiest, finest late afternoon show. Drive time on Love 99.5 FM with Ruben.
DJ Ruben.
The DJ with flex.
DJ Ruben.
DJ Ruben.